Have you ever had a situation where you're looking at your ROAS within your ads manager and it's looking much better than what you actually have in reality when you look at your accounting and your P&L? In this video, that's exactly what I'm going to be discussing, and I will also show you why it's very likely you're actually wasting a certain percentage of your ad spend that is just not generating you more sales, and you could just simply stop spending that amount of budget and see a much better efficiency, much better overall ROAS for your business. If you're new to the channel, my name is Oli. I run Strand Media, a performance marketing agency working with multiple different e-commerce and info product businesses all around the world. Over the last 5 years, been managing multiple 7 figures in ad spend, and this YouTube channel is just where I share the lessons and learnings that I have along the way to help you get better results with your Facebook ads. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. So let's go ahead and talk about why you might be wasting a big part of your ad spend right now and how we can solve it to get your overall efficiency back up. Now, if you look at my screen here, you can see this is just an example of a scenario that's very common when you have multiple different marketing channels you rely on to get customers into your business. As you can see here, we have in this example email revenue, Google Ads revenue, and Facebook ads revenue, and then we also in the middle have the total revenue, which is the actual revenue that you see in your bank account, right? Now, if we put all of the revenue that we see in the ad platforms together, in this example and in many examples, that will actually exceed the total revenue you have for your business. So the reason why this happens is because the different channels take credit for the same conversion. So an example here is, let's say somebody sees an ad from your Facebook campaign, and then before they go and buy, they also go through Google, search for your brand terms. They see a bottom of funnel search ad, they click on that ad, and then they go ahead and convert. Facebook and Google does not collaborate. So in this case, both of these platforms will get credit for that sale. So you will see the same amount of revenue in both platforms. Now this creates the problem or the issue of knowing where to allocate your marketing budget for the maximum marketing efficiency ratio, or the MER. Now, the marketing efficiency ratio is also referred to as a blended ROAS, where we look at the overall ROAS, all of your revenue and all of your ad spend from all marketing channels, and we put it together to one ROAS number instead of just looking at the specific ROAS numbers in each platform. Now, this is what you actually want to optimize for. You actually want to get the maximum MER every month to have the most efficient use of your marketing budget. But this obviously becomes very difficult because let's look at the example I just mentioned again. If somebody sees an ad on Meta, but then they go in through Google and they see an ad there as well, and both these platforms get credit for that sale, we will not know for sure which platform was the most essential one and if we only needed one or the other. Because in many cases, you need to have multiple touch points with a potential customer before they actually buy. They might need to see one ad from your Facebook ad campaign. They might need to see one ad from your Snapchat campaign or your YouTube ads campaign. They might need to read an email newsletter or something. In many cases, there needs to be multiple touch points. So that's why this problem is so difficult to understand. But the point here isn't for us to know exactly where we need to spend our marketing budget. We just need to get closer to a spend that just gives us overall better efficiency, and we just need to at least get closer to the optimal setup, even though it's very difficult to know exactly what that's going to look like in terms of which platforms get a certain amount of spend. So because this is so complex and very, in many cases, really impossible to understand fully, what often happens is that you have a big misalignment between the way you optimize within the advertising platform, so the way you actually set things up within your ad account in Meta and Google and any other platform you might use, and what your actual business objective are, right? So you might set things up in your Meta Ads Manager to get the maximum ROAS within the Ads Manager, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to equate to the maximum MER for your business. So that's why it becomes very difficult, and a lot of times when I audit accounts, I see that this is not taking into consideration when you set up your campaigns. Another big problem that I've seen many times is when you have a business that works with freelancer or an external agency, and that agency only looks at the data from within the Ads Manager. In that case, the agency is obviously going to just optimize for the highest ROAS or the best CPA that's being reported in the Ads Manager. But as we just saw, in many cases, it's actually not going to equate to the best setup for your business, because you want to optimize for actual profit. You want to have the ROAS that you can actually put in your bank account. That's why this is such a big issue. And it often looks like this. So this is your actual MER, but you're looking at campaigns with good ROAS within the ads manager, but it's not getting you closer to what you actually want. Now, one thing that's really key to remember when you optimize in your ads manager is that at the end of the day, Meta or Zuckerberg, as you can see on this slide, they want your money. So they want you to continue to spend on the ads on their platform. That's why they have the whole setup in a way that's going to, by default, allow the campaigns to take as much credit as it possibly can, so that the results look good within your ads manager. But that does not necessarily mean that those campaigns or those ads should actually get the credit for all of those conversions. So key thing to remember there, we want to maximize your MER, and this is how we maximize the MER for your business. You need to optimize your meta ads for incrementality. So incrementality is a little bit of a complex word, but it basically means incrementality is the measure of an additional impact or lift generated by a marketing activity beyond what would have happened without it. So just to put this into simple words, you want to optimize your ad spend towards ads that needs to be shown to people to get them to convert. If they did not see the ad, they would not have gone in and converted to a customer for your business. And this is practically how we will do that within the ads manager. You want to allocate more spend towards the campaigns that actually generate new customers at the highest possible efficiency, so the highest ROAS or the lowest CPA. And we want to spend less money on the campaigns that do not drive incremental revenue to your business. So the campaigns that are in your ad account and just scooping up conversions that would happen regardless if the people within that audience for that campaign saw your ad, those campaigns we want to spend less money on, because it's essentially just wasting money if these people would convert without seeing the ad. Before I go ahead and show you how to set this up within your ads manager, there's one caveat you need to be mindful of, and that is that incrementality in this context of Facebook ads does not always mean focusing on new customers only. For some businesses, you actually need to focus a certain amount of ad spend towards the existing customers and engaged audiences to get them to re-engage and come back and buy again from your business. Now, obviously, for most businesses, the ideal setup is to have free channels such as email marketing, SMS marketing, or organic social to re-engage existing customers. In that way, you don't have to always have an additional marketing cost to get those conversions back to your business. And on the long term, as long as you have a good returning customer rate, then your business is going to compound much faster and you're going to have much more profitable growth. But in some cases, we've seen for our clients, when we turn down the spend for the minimum funnel and bottom of funnel audiences, the actual overall results for the business go down a little bit. So for some businesses, if you don't have a proper setup on the back end to really utilize like SMS and email, then you're going to be relying a little bit more of still for incrementality, you need to spend some money towards bottom of funnel and minimal funnel. But for most businesses, what you want to do is allocate more spend towards the prospecting campaigns, the campaigns that are actually going out towards cold audiences with people that have never seen your business or brand or product before, and get those new customers into your business, and then you will upsell and re-engage them towards free channels. Now, how do we actually optimize for incrementality in your ads manager? So 3 things I want to talk about here. The number 1 thing you want to do right now that you can do after you watch this video is go into your ads manager and set up audience segments so we can break down and see the efficiency or the CPA based on the targeting of the campaigns that you're running. So I'll show you one example of this for one of our clients that we recently did a breakdown analysis of audience segments. So you need to set this up in order to have this breakdown. So as you can see here, when I go to the breakdown section and I go down to demographics, I can actually now select audience segments. So when I do that, you will be able to see which conversions came from a new audience and which came from engage or an existing audience. And again, you need to set this up to see this. I'll show you how to set this up in a second. And that way we can actually see which campaigns are generating new customers the most efficiently and what campaigns are actually, maybe it shows us a really good ROAS, but it's towards like engaged or existing customers. And then what's also really interesting sometimes is you can see that maybe you have one campaign that you think is doing really well and you want to scale it. But when you break it down like this, you see that most of the ROAS is just coming from existing customers or the engaged audience. So people that have already been on your website or engaged with you on social. So as you can see, when we broke this down in this ad account, we can see that for the last 2 weeks, this campaign that I've been running in the ad account for quite a while, it has the most amount of volume, most amount of spend, and also the most amount of conversions. But the efficiency for generating in new customers to the business is also really low. It's 1.89 ROAS. If we look at the new campaign that we set up, and we did a lot of testing within this campaign, you can see that the new audience ROAS is a 3.08, so a much better efficiency, even though the volume is slightly lower. Now, what we will do based on this is we will now allocate more spend towards this campaign and see what the overall results are going to look like for this client. So not just within the ads manager, but once we start to allocate more spend to this campaign instead, we want to see if the overall marketing efficiency ratio is getting better. The overall marketing efficiency ratio is also referred to as the blended ROAS. So just keep that in mind if you've heard both MER and blended ROAS in different contexts. Just know that it's the same metric. So the first thing you want to do when you want to set this up, so you can actually do this breakdown by audience segments, is go into advertising settings under advertise. Then when you scroll down here, you will be able to see audience segments. And within here, you can set this up. So for the engaged audience, what you want to do is you want to have everybody that added to cart last 180 days, everybody that view content, and everybody that view your website. For existing customers, you want to upload a custom list of all your existing customers. You can also use the purchase event for the last 180 days, but to get it even more accurate, you want to upload a manual list of your customers. Now you can also build an audience with a URL parameter if you want to set up something specific. In this example, I'm not going to do that. We just want to see the engaged audience and the existing customers when we break it down so that we can better allocate spend towards the campaigns and the ad sets that's generating new customers the most efficiently. Now the second thing we can do to optimize the ad account for incrementality and actually get in new customers and not waste ad spend is by making sure that if we do have a separate retargeting campaign, so a campaign that's focused on warm audiences only, we make sure that we have the attribution setting set to only 1 or 7 day click. The reason for that is we want to optimize for the people that actually need to see this ad to take action and go ahead and convert. Because in a lot of times when people have been considering buying your product, they've gone onto your website, they've had a look at it, maybe added to cart, but they weren't quite ready yet. They might still go in and actually finish the purchase without seeing an additional ad on Instagram or Facebook. So that's why we want to make sure that if we're actually going to give credit to a bottom of funnel ad for conversion, it actually needs to have made this person click on it. If they only saw it, they only viewed it and then went in and actually made the purchase, that might also overlap with other efforts you're doing. Maybe you have an automated abandoned cart email, and maybe that's actually what made them come back and finish the purchase. You see, there's so many things that can happen here where the bottom of funnel Facebook ad should actually not get the credit. So make sure you only use 7 or 1 day click for the bottom of funnel retargeting campaigns. If you're also running a short-term promotional campaign, we want to make sure that the people that take action on this sale, so let's say for example we run a holiday sale or Black Friday sale, for that campaign we want to make sure that people that are seeing the ads and going ahead and buy, they actually buy because of the offer that you show in that ad. So you want to make sure you set up a 7 day click or 1 day click attribution for those short-term promotional campaigns as well, because if not, it's very likely it's going to overlap with other efforts you're doing. And then again, maybe the prospecting campaign that's actually doing the heavy lifting will not get the credit. Instead, the promotional campaign is getting credit even though it didn't really do the heavy lifting. So we want to make sure that we optimize for incremental conversions by using 7 or 1 day click attribution. Now the third thing we can do to optimize our ad account for incrementality is to exclude existing customers and engage audiences from the prospecting campaign. Now one thing to note here is that if you are only relying or heavily relying on Meta as the source of generating new customers, then in many cases I would not recommend doing this. We have seen again and again that actually excluding previous customers and adding exclusions to the targeting is actually not helping the performance. It's hurting it more than it's helping it. But in some cases, if you also have many other top of funnel or prospecting channels, let's say you're doing top of funnel influencer marketing, or you're running some top of funnel ads on Google as well, then you might want to exclude the engaged audience and existing customers so that the prospecting campaigns are not scooping up credit for sales that they shouldn't have. So keep that in mind. But it's definitely a way for you to force more spend towards a broader and colder audience that aren't familiar with your product and brand yet. But again, We rarely do this for our clients. In some cases, we do exclude previous customers, but take that into consideration that if you're relying on Meta as the main source to get new customers, might not be the right thing for you. So keep that in mind. So to sum up what we have talked about in this video, it's very difficult to really understand where you need to allocate all your marketing dollars to get the overall best marketing efficiency ratio. But what we can definitely do is to optimize the ad account for incrementality and make sure we have much better alignment between how we optimize in the ad account and what we actually want at the end of the day for your business, which is money in your bank account and a better overall efficiency, and not just a nice ROAS number within your ad account. And to achieve that, you need to optimize your campaigns and your total ad account for incrementality. You want to actually make sure you spend money on marketing efforts that generate sales. And if you didn't do that marketing effort with that ad spend, it would not have generated that sales. So you want to make sure you have allocation of your marketing dollars that generates the most efficient and the best MER for your business. And 3 things you can do right now to set this up is to, as I showed you, set up audience segments and make sure you see what campaigns are actually having the best efficiency in terms of generating you new customers. And you might also consider excluding previous customers from your prospecting campaigns to make sure that you're forcing more spend towards colder audience that are going to generate new customers and focus less money on the existing customers. So if you did find this video valuable, make sure you give it a like. If you have any questions, make sure you leave it in the comment section below. And also, if you want to get a free checklist that's just including what I talked about in this video and some bonus stuff for how you can optimize your ad account for incrementality, make sure you click the link in the description of this video. I'll send you that checklist so you can go through step by step and just implement it in your ad account. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to hit 5K subscribers by the end of the year, so make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.